Hello, my name is Cynthia. If you love beautiful needlework, you like to talk about it, you like to see examples of it, and most importantly, if you hope to be inspired to create your own beautiful projects, you're in the right place. Welcome to my channel, Stitching in the Light. I appreciate you watching my video today. If you are a subscriber or just stopping by, welcome. I had lots of things piling up that I wanted to share with you, and I wanted to show you a finish, a couple of whips that I'll be doing during Sampler September. I wanted to refer you to a video I made 2 days ago about the upcoming Great Pumpkin Sal, and I have a little bit of haul from my birthday presents that I bought myself. So I wanted to share that as well. But I wanted to start out today with some previous finishes. It's been enough time now that I'm starting to accumulate some, and I wanted to share some of my favorites that I haven't shown since my first video, just in case you didn't go back to the beginning to catch those. If you were a new visitor to my channel, I've had a lot of new subscribers, so I was gonna just go back to that point. I in my first video showed the Sunflower Manor by Priscilla and Kathy Hammerman from Hands On Design. This was my, I think, third piece overall, but definitely the biggest thing I had ever tried. I'd just done a few little tiny kits, so not all of my stitches go in the right direction. There aren't an equal amount of window panes on the house, but I kept at it, and I'm so glad I did. It's on 14 count Aida, and you can't tell. It's just a black Aida from Joann's, and the shutter comes from Tuesday Morning, but like I said, this was 2 years ago, so I don't know if you'd be able to find it again. I've never seen one there since, but I just love it. It's got these knobs at the bottom that I usually keep like twine and scissors from, and it stays in my kitchen. I had some, I think just, what do you call that behind it? The ticking. Some ticking. That stays up all year, and I just magnet on the cross stitch. And I never did do the top piece. I have it upstairs ready to get out again if I want to add a couple more pumpkins and put autumn on there, but I leave it up for quite a while, so I think it looks good like this. And I added the turquoise and red. They aren't charted. But my kitchen has turquoise and red, so this is one of my most favorites. My oldest daughter says her favorite that I've stitched, and I hope she doesn't look too closely at it, but I love it. So if you've ever wondered what this chart looks like, it is so pretty. One of my favorites. The other one that is a favorite was the Autumn ABCs. Whoops, I lost my pumpkin there. This was one of my first, I think it was the first ABC finish that I made for Little House Needleworks. And I changed a lot of the colors, but I tried to use some of the called for, like the blue corn. I added some specialty stitches in this, like some straw in long stitch that wasn't called for. And I want to say I did some other kind of back stitches, like just added on some vines and things that weren't called for. But this is one of my favorite pieces. And the threads, again, not called for. I think I ended up going back and forth on what the lettering would look like, so it kind of fades as it goes down and gets darker at the top. I usually start at the bottom, so I think that's what I did. In that burgundy house was a thread that I dyed myself from some Artiste brand threads. And I love the top. It's kind of hard to show it in here. Let's see if I can get it sideways. It has this kind of green pumpkin and black and cream ribbon. So this stand was red. I've shown it before, but if you're new, and it says welcome on the back. I don't know if they'll bring this back or not. I fit all the Little House Needleworks on this stand. So, and right now I have it on my mantle. So there's a previous finish. The fabric is 16 count Aida, so these fit, I think it's called for 32 count, and the 16 count Aida is really cheap at Hobby Lobby. I just dyed it like Priscilla and Chelsea. I don't know if I baked that in the oven or not. Probably not. Just did some red dye with cocoa brown and tan. So there's the other previous finish. The other thing I wanted to mention really quickly, I already said, but this guy's my little mascot for the Great Pumpkin Sal. I am hosting with Olivia and Christy from Cross Hatch Quilts, and Olivia is Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. I made a video to explain our plans to stitch pumpkins in October. I had a few people ask if they could start stitching pumpkins now and use the hashtag the Great Pumpkin Sal, and I said of course, that's fine. I understand a lot of us want to start fall stitching now, and if you have a pumpkin piece that fits into the sal, go ahead. I am mainly focusing on samplers in September, and I didn't want to step on that event. The one I'm participating in mainly is the September sampler soiree by Senorita Stitches, I believe. I can't remember her first name. I'll try to put it here. But I am working on antique reproductions this month, so I will show those later. But this little guy is just a lot of fun, something I made last year for a craft fair, and I have quite a few of them, but he is my little mascot. So if you see this on Instagram, he will probably be accompanying some prizes that have been donated. I did want to update you on that. I've had lots of sweet Instagram friends contact me and ask if they could give me sampler charts from Hands Across the Sea, if they could give me a Brenda Gervais Quaker with the box that goes on it, a project bag by Goose Designs. I spoke with Denise this morning. She's going to be making a Christmas bag for us, not to mention the bags that we already have from myself and Christy and Olivia. Kim Lehman, Barbara's daughter, also made a bag for us, and Helen D is putting together a whole kit of a cross stitch project. Susie Reno is going to help. We're just having so much fun with all of the support that's pouring in to support the agency called Freedom Shield that fights against human trafficking. So please watch that video just so you'll know what's going on, and if you have any ability to help or pray for that foundation and for the work that they're doing, I would appreciate your support there. So that is kind of my business part of the video. Let me show you my finish for this last month. I've been working on the potting shed, and I said I was putting away summer, but I sort of put this in a little bit of a fall twist. So here's the potting shed by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and it's a really cute design. I changed some of the threads because as time goes by, what the designer shows on the model, I think the threads just change pretty significantly. So I darkened some of the threads up with Rit dye. I completely swapped some of the threads because that skirt of hers turned out to be like a light tan. But let me show you how it turned out, and I really like it. I used ginger snap from Gast, and then that pot right here is what her skirt was supposed to be. So her skirt would have looked like a pot, and I didn't want it to be that color. I used the other called for though in the chili pepper. I think Dina on Half Stitch Cross Stitch was talking about how much she loves this thread. I love that. It's a really pretty color, and I've already put the threads up where I'd show you more of them, but this piece was monopolizing a lot of Gentle Arts threads. Brenda Gervais will chart like 12 or 14 flosses for a small piece, and some of the threads only call for like 2 or 3 stitches. So be a little bit aware of that. If you want to just pull a few of them out and then put your stash back, you can totally do that. But I love this piece, and I'm going to keep it up year round. It's going to go in my front room that's kind of like a garden space, and so I'm not going to have it with my bee stuff, even though it does have some hives and some little over one just single cross bees, almost just like a little wispy bee. But it's so cute. And this trim was some white cotton pom-pom trim from Joann's, and what I did was dip it in some tan overdye, and my initial results from doing that were kind of disgusting. I tried to dye this, and I actually don't know if it's cotton or not. It might have some synthetic threads because it did not take the dye very well. But I had a question I meant to address in my last video. I had a couple, so I'm going to pull them out if I can remember. But one viewer on Flosstube 22 asked what role vinegar played in dyeing. And when I soaked this trim this afternoon in vinegar and then put it in the dye, it was a totally different result. I'll show you a thread that I did the same thing with. The white vinegar, and don't soak it in there very long, but a dip of that, just like when you're dyeing Easter eggs, it basically acts as a way to, it's an acid, and it acts to open up the fibers and really make a more vibrant color. So it isn't anything I've ever heard anyone talk about, really. If you're more of a professional dyer or have worked with like the Dharma fabric dyes, then you might have heard of soda ash and things like that, or if you've done a lot of tie dyeing. But white vinegar is kind of a game changer when it comes to trying to get things dark. I would just be careful with it as far as the acid, like on linen or something. I would take a quick dunk and then put it right in the dye. So don't let it soak. But I love that color. It almost looks like the pots. So it's cocoa brown, but I probably had it tan before, so it's kind of a couple of colors. But it's just Joann's. I think it's like 79 cents a yard. Very affordable. And this chalkboard, I don't know if I bought it or my mom. It looks like a Hobby Lobby for sure. It says $4. I'm pretty sure I bought it. It's a chalkboard, so it's metal, and I used magnets, but I'm not going to switch it out. It has a little bit of a recess here, and I needed a magnet to be able to stick it on there. So I could change it out if I wanted to, but this is glued on. I don't usually like to do that, but like I said, I didn't really even have room for another layer of matte board. This is just on foam core. So black foam core, because I carried a lot of those threads. I was not going to do a pin stitch on an over 1B. So love this one, Potting Shed by Brenda Gervais. The other finish I had, I have filmed another video about pumpkin patterns, kind of like I did with my bee and sunflower patterns, but I haven't posted it yet. The sound is kind of wonky, so I might have to redo it, but I show Halloween Rules. The topper is completely finished, and so that was another finish, but I didn't get it out. I'm almost done with my Hawk Run Hollow, but I left it in the front room, so I will just update you on that next time. And then let me go ahead and pull out my works in progress. I had a couple of birthday gifts that were lots and lots of threads. They can certainly add up, and so I kind of treated myself to finishing out my All Creatures Great and Small. My initial intention to just kind of add silks as I go had me pick about 9 different choices, and they're beautiful. Some of them were a little bit brighter than I wanted, and I haven't had a lot of luck in dyeing. Sorry, I got a phone call, so I got interrupted. This dye, or this thread, I don't want to dye because I had poor results with the last time I tried to overdye a silk. And I like these colors. They're very shiny and beautiful, but I did go ahead and get a lot of the overdyeds from Classic Colorworks and from Weeks Dye Works, and then the rest of it I was encouraged by Celeste. She's doing a great job with hers, and I had not realized her lilies, Consider the Lilies, is in DMC. So I filled out the rest of the colors I needed with DMC, and I haven't updated you in a while, so I can't remember where I was last time I showed you, but I started in on some motifs. I was getting kind of bored with just doing the banner and the border, so it's so big. It took me a long time. I've almost finished I call it the belly band or the belt. I love the way she laid this out because it makes me feel good to know that, you know, that's all going to meet on the other side. Yeah, there's the end right there. So I almost finished the verse. I don't fit in there when it's in. And then here's those apples that were just a little bit bright, but I don't think they're too bright. And the snake, I think it's going to be really pretty. And my silk is kind of a bluey green. It's called Seagrass. And the middle one is called Kilbara. They're both from Dinky Dyes. So they are a little bit more of a departure from the chart, but not too much, I don't think. And I just got really excited to be able to do some of the motifs, to have the threads complete, to have kind of finished with the gamble of, is this $4 purchase going to be, or $5 silk that I'm buying from Dinky Dye going to be a waste of money, or is it going to work out? And I couldn't get to the store. Stitch Niche in Arlington is still closed, and I haven't been able to go to Cleburne, so it just wasn't the timing for a silk conversion. But I've had fun with it, and I appreciate what I did get. That was a really it was a really good experience to use that silk on the border, because I love stitching with silk. And I do love this lily color. Is that the one I did with DMC? No, that's the variegation of the Dinky Dye Pumpkin Spice. I really think that's the perfect color for the lily. This is a DMC test, but I'm going to do the other ones in this. So there's Consider the Lilies. I work on that on Sunday with Marissa, and I'd invite you to join us. Tag your progress. I'd love to see it. The other thing that I worked on, besides finishing up my potting shed, I made some project bags, and this is the style of project bag that I will be giving away. Not these exact colors. I have some more kind of traditional colors planned, but I'm continuing to use my sari silk that comes from India. Like I had someone say sari ? S-A-R-I. That's just the garments that they wore, and I don't know if they still do, but they wear in India, that are recycled and bleached. And I put this in an ombre, like kind of 3 different jars of purple and gray and blue, and oh my goodness, I love the way that turned out. It just glows. And I used another pearl button and antique. I got it at Antique Mall in a bag, and this ombre fabric, all to start my birthday start, which was 2 days ago on August 31st, the blue flower night walk down. And I love this piece. I've admired it for some time. I explained the significance of it to me last time in my video, and I got all the threads together. I really like the way Janine does her conversions onto DMC. I think this is for the Gentle Arts Amethyst. If the colors are pretty variegated, she will put 2 DMCs down. So it's going to allow me to do that kind of random pattern that I've done with a little bit of this purple and a little bit of that purple, and kind of jump around so that I can get a overdyed kind of fake look, or a fake overdyed look. But the others I did pick up a lot of them from Anita's Little Stitches. I was enabled by Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She sent me over there, and they have a huge supply of threads. I'll try to link her down below. But these colors are just beautiful. And here's that other dye I was explaining. I could not get this color to go orange until I dipped it in white vinegar, and now it's a really pretty rust. So it's going to be some of those flowers. Here's the fabric I dyed. It's hard to get on video a real true representation. That's pretty good. It's like a bluey gray. There's a little bit of mottling, not a lot. I dipped it in a little bit of charcoal, but that was really watered down, and then some I think denim blue, and maybe a little bit of tan too. So I just kind of mixed a concoction. So I love the colors. My issue with these though, it's going to go in this room that I'm in now, and my walls are kind of a really soft gray. I'm trying to make it look a little bit more antique and kind of romantic, and so I am doing 1 thread over 2 on 32 count. Now the coverage would bother a lot of people. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I might have to sneeze again. I don't know what my deal is today. I've got bad allergies. But I feel like the coverage would bother a lot of people. But for the look I'm going for in this room, my bedroom, it really is what I wanted. I want it to be kind of soft. And when I did 1 strand on that peacock, you can kind of see how that white, it does show up. But for the whole bird, it would just kind of disappear. So I'm using the color that was charted for the border, wrought iron, which is a really pretty bluey green. It actually is pretty subtle, but it goes back and forth. I think you can see that between both colors. I use that for the bird, more the traditional peacock. I mean, most peacocks are this color, not white. And I'm going to do the feathering on the bottom in those purples, the way she has charted. Even on the model, it's kind of hard to see the bird there. Yeah. So I will be doing this on the 31st of the month. My birthday's on the 31st, so this hopefully will be done by next year. It's not a huge piece. It's a little bit kind of skinny and wide. So we'll see how that goes. And I am omitting the border. I've learned from my friend Kim Goldman, hi Kim, that I can just stitch the parts I like. And so I wanted it to be in kind of a darker frame. I don't feel like I needed to stitch those 6 rows of wrought iron. So it's just going to be the flowers. And oh, the other thing that went with that, my daughter Sophia made a moon and star scissor fob for me. I did a giveaway for one of these with my bee projects, but she has gotten so good at this. And I got some scissors from Anita's Little Stitches that are a cat. I don't know if you can, yeah, there you can tell. There's a little tail. So this was my kind of special treat to myself, the beautiful project bag that I made myself, and then the scissors and the fob from Sophia, and it was such a treat to work on my birthday. So that was a new start, and then pretty much the whips that I worked on over the last month of August. And let me show you my plans for September, and then I'll show you the haul and do the giveaway. So hang on just a second. Let me show you my plans for September for the September sampler soiree. I have Sarah Woodham as my focus. I'm trying to do a set amount of time every day, and I'm not going to allow myself to stitch on anything else until I've completed that time. And yesterday I did meet my goal. I am doing this on 36 count sand by Picture This Plus, and I'm using 1 thread over 2, mostly DMC. I think I've got a few of the Gentle Arts, like Old Blue Paint, Grecian Gold. I might have borrowed one that I have to hunt down, but the rest is all DMC. I cut my DMC too short. This project, I really had no idea what I was getting into when I looked at this. I thought it was gorgeous, and I bought it on Stash and Loading, not realizing that all of that verse in the middle is over 1 stitching. So I'm going to try to eat my vegetables. I want this on my wall. I want it finished. I love it so much. I got all of this motif done yesterday, which was really gratifying because I think it looks so cool. Teresa Vanette is the designer of this piece from 1770, her own personal collection. And she, you know, a lot of times does the more muted tone. She's not going to do like the bright thread on the back, but this one is 250 years old, so that's probably all she could see on it, and I love it. That bird, it's kind of a lot of dense counting, so I've been putting it off, and there's a goose under here where there's a lady standing on top of it, so it's just so funny to do these motifs and see what's there. That crazy squirrel is on both sides, but as I come up here, I'm about ready for the big tree on top of my rose here. I'm actually on this side. I'll be doing this big topiary piece, and it's got a lot of colors in it, but the border is in eyelets, and I do like stitching that. I also had some satin stitches on that, or long stitches. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, right here on this motif I did yesterday. That was fun to figure out. So I'm trying to just hit that border a little bit at a time and then do a motif so I don't burn out, because this piece has got me really stalled out. It's kind of monotonous, but it's going to be beautiful. So I'm wanting to show where I am now. I mean, I've got the double border all the way around, and I've got a lot of the eyelets. I want to try to work along the bottom so that I can get to that other border and go up. And we'll see how far I get. I'm going to be doing it every single day, so I hope to make some good progress before I show you again. And that again is Sarah Woodham by Shakespeare's Peddler. And when I finish working on Sarah Woodham, my next focus piece, this is the one that I wanted to finish in 2020. It's a finished 10 goal, is the shepherd sampler. So I'm trying to do my allotted time, kind of eat my vegetables, and then I can do whatever I want the rest of the time. So I'm not monotonous, I'm monogamous, right, Becky? So I might be working on a few other pieces, but this one for sure will get some more attention. And it's a small piece. This is about halfway right here. There's another little tree here and a lot of grass to fill in. But this is another one I'm doing 1/2 on 32 count. It's a vintage buttercream by Lakeside Linens. I got this a long time ago when Lakeside wasn't so hard to find. I think I started this in Mania 2019. So I want this one on my wall. I think it is so pretty. It has the reds and the muted tones. I'm not using any of the called for. I am using my own conversion of just Victorian motto threads. Antique red, mountain grass, and then the DMCs. So some of the DMCs I did not like, but I love that red from Victorian motto. It is beautiful. And that pot of flowers, it's like a kind of vintagey pink. So love this one. I'm going to get that one out when I'm done with my work on Sarah. And then I wanted to show you, just for some inspiration, I hope to get a little bit of work on these, probably just like one motif. That would make me really happy to just have a little more progress on the other antique samplers that I have. I had started so many last year, and I've explained before my health was not good in September, but I'm hopeful that it will be better. And I want to finish one motif on this. I had started Hannah Gilpin by the Stitchy Box Samplers. I believe they bought this from another design company, and now they're on PDF. So this one is one that you can get yourself. It's charted in like grays and browns and blacks, but I'm doing all of it in Weeks Dye Works charcoal, which is kind of a blacky brown. It's not really gray, it's more of a antique-y black. And I like to make my labels with packing tape and a print off of the design. So here's my Hannah Gilpin progress. Very small, but this fabric is tiny too. This is 40 count. I over dyed it myself with taupe. It's a mallow, and it's got some good variegation on it. I wanted it to look pretty crusty. And these Quakers, or at least this particular one, is an Ackworth school, so it has a lot of like vines and floral motifs, and it looks really old, and I love it. It reminds me of the Elizabeth Grimshaw. That was the one, I think it's Elizabeth. That was the other one I was considering, but it will keep going with an alphabet, and this one is a little bit smaller. So I want to be able to finish this quarter Quaker. I thought they would be pretty simple, and they're kind of not. They're a little bit like a long dog. Like, you have to be perfectly symmetrical and counted. I have had to tear some out and go back, but I was getting my groove with that one and put it away. So I want to put a little more work into that one. And then also my largest, I think it's probably about the same size as Hopcorn Hollow, is Mahala Barber by Fox and Rabbit Designs. I think this was one of their first designs that they released. They're the same couple that do linens and threads out of Australia, and I love this piece. Mahala was English, but of course the designers are from Australia. They found it. And this dark fabric I've kind of over dyed from a light mocha, and the white on it is just so pretty. There's another motif here, and then the vining, I would love to be able to work that vining out a little bit farther. The pages can be pretty sparse. See, there's some floral motifs up here, but this is like a page. So if I could just keep trailing that up, it's on a fat half, it's going to be huge. And the threads, I wanted to show you, they're really pretty. They are kind of bright though. Oh, I've got them in the bag still. Some of them only show up a little bit, but I did some time converting these. It's charted all in D&C. Yeah, you can see how bright those greens are. But I went to one of my local needlework shops, Fancy Stitches. There's my little tag, same thing with packing tape. And I converted, with the help of the staff, to overdyeds because I really wanted some variegation. That's pomegranate. And the other one I did was almost auburn, so that the browns had a little variegation, and the squash by Weeks is much darker than the DMC. So you might consider that. Here's green with envy. If you like to see like a little bit more movement in your grass, you could either do that trick with the DMC that I was sharing where you pick a lighter thread than the DMC, or take in the DMC and convert them a little bit, because the DMCs just weren't all my favorite colors. And like I said, they don't show up a lot. The top of that chart has a quilt kind of motif, and it's really bright with like blues, and so some of these colors really only show up there, but it's a lot of floss and a lot of fabric. It's a big girl, but it's so fun. I really want to get back to that, at least a little bit on the side. And then I think that's all of the samplers I had to show you. I'm going to show you my haul and we'll be finished. I wanted to share some haul that I had found, and then I will link the winners of the giveaway at the end. Just a few things here and there as I was buying my threads. I got some bow and needles that are in a multi-pack because it has a size for wool applique, and also a size 24 needle that I'm going to use on an 11 count piece that I'm doing with my pumpkins. So I got this multi-pack for $3 from Shakespeare's Peddler. I'm just going in random order because these are in a basket. I also got this whole thing of like 500 charms from China on eBay, and that's what I used to make my scissor fob, or Sophia used some of these moons and stars at the bottom. Some of them were goofy, like marijuana leaves and stuff, but there are some in here that are really cool. Like there's some spoons in here and some different like feathers and crosses and the moons and stars. So it was like $1.50. I'll try to link this down below. It took 2 or 3 months to get here, maybe 8 weeks, but I think you'd pay like $8 or $9 for this on Amazon, and you can get it for $1.50 if you go directly to the source. It may get lost, but if it's $2, they'll refund it. It's not a big deal. The other thing I got was my Victorian motto. I think this is June's. I still haven't gotten, no, this is July's. I still haven't gotten August, but it's called Shadow, I think. And I wish I had gotten the fat quarter, because this would have been perfect for Night Walk Down. It's kind of a purpley gray color, but it's too small. So, and I wanted to go more blue anyway, but I will find, I think this is going to be my, I'm going to use this for my garden club with Blackbird Designs. I think that'll be really pretty for one of the samplers or the drums on that. The other fabric I found, again from Anita's Little Stitches, she didn't say that it was silk weaver, but I remembered seeing this from a friend on Instagram. It's called Days Gone By, 36 count, and it's a little bit hit or miss when you do hand dyes. This has a lot of white splotches on it, but I love that orangey, rusty color, kind of pumpkin-y, antique-y color, and I think I'm going to leave it because what I have planned on here will cover up some of those white splotches, and it'll go for the look I'm wanting anyway, kind of a real antique-y, crusty fall piece. So I love this color. It's a really fine linen too. It feels really nice and doesn't have a lot of slibs. It's 36 count. So I don't know if she still has some of that, but it's a beautiful color and a really good price. I also found some old Brenda Gervais that have been on my wish list. I know Christy's working on this on crosshatch quilts, and Tina from For Love of the Stitches has it finished on her wall, and I think hers was the main enabling there, because I had thought this fabric was really blue, but it's not. It's dove, and it's kind of a grayish. I might do it on a natural linen, but I love this piece, and it's kind of hard to find. It's out of stock a lot, so I went ahead and grabbed it on Kitten Stitcher's website. And then here's another one that I've admired for so long, and I went ahead and grabbed it. It's Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. I was watching Marlene stitch this when I was in Tulsa last year, and it's so pretty. I want to do it on a darker fabric so that pumpkin, you can't really see it on the model, but there's a white pumpkin on the top, and I want that to really pop. And I have some fabric or some thread that I dyed myself, 20 yards of it, that looks really close to that color. So I'm going to use that. And I got a little prairie schooler that I've wanted. It was just a couple dollars from Anita's Little Stitches, and it has the sewing. I think they use an actual needle on the model, but I don't think I'll do that. I might use my silver thread. And I've seen a lot of cute finishes on this. They have them pirated on Pinterest, but I didn't want to use that. I'll go ahead and buy it if I can find it. And oh, this is a fun little limited edition thing. I don't know if it's still in stock, but it is a really pretty little set from XG Designs on Teresa's website on Kitten Stitcher. It's a silk like 3-pack for Halloween, and I had kind of entertained the thought of using it on my Consider the Lilies before I just broke down and got the overdyes. And I might still use this purple, but it's got like some greens and browns in it. So I think what I want to do is use it for fall and Halloween pieces, maybe a monochromatic piece where I can just let that variegation really show off on like a little pin pillow with an alphabet or something. Like this orange is really variegated, but it's so soft and it's really nice. I hadn't tried XG Designs, I don't think anything yet. So this was my first. And then she also included this trim in the little pack that I got, and it's kind of groovy. I'm not sure what I'll use it for. It's kind of a spooky looking olive green color, but I think that would be, you know, something I could use for sure. So that came in a pack. And this tape ribbon, I've been trying to find this at like Joann's or somewhere. It's just twill tape ribbon, and Kitten Stitcher has it for a really good price, like 60 cents a yard. So I'm going to use this for some of my sewing room accessories, and maybe to finish the bottom of Mary needleworker or something. It'll be something I can definitely use. So I picked up a couple yards of that, and I got this fabric from Teresa. It's the 36 count limestone, just a zweigart, and it's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of a gray green color. My purpose for this is I'm going to overdye it and grunge it up a little bit, and this is going to be Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. So I want it to be just a little bit darker so the white house pops on it, but it's going to have the little bit of a greeny gray undertone like the pattern model. So that'll be perfect. The other thing I got, oh, and I left the pattern upstairs. This even weave, someone asked me, how do you get that for $12? Is it on Hobby Lobby's website? I think it is, but you have to use your 40% off coupon. It's listed for $20. This is a yard of even weave, 30 inches by 36. And for a long skinny piece, it's really handy. I'm going to dye this kind of a gingerbready color and use this for the Prairie School or ABCs. I was watching Fat Quarter Shop show their finished vertical piece. I think Kim Lehman started this too, and she was encouraging that, you know, these little letters are tiny. I want to try to do one a day in November and see if I can't have a companion piece to my Christmas rules. So this fabric was for that. And the last thing I have is my giveaway for the berry, the honey pattern for the honeyberry, and this wad of silk. And I will insert the winners here. You have a great stitchy month for Sampler September or whatever you're stitching for fall. I hope that you're doing well, and I'll be back to check in a couple of weeks as I finish all of my videos. In Psalm 90 verse 17 it says, "May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands." Thanks for watching. I always forget the quilt behind me when I'm doing my videos, but this was a huge stitchy kindness that a member in my church gifted to me, and I wanted to share it. It's a beautiful kind of peacock looking quilt, and there's my cat modeling it for us. She hand quilted it with, I think, free motion quilting, and it has kind of like a rainbow thread. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but she did such a beautiful job on that for my birthday, and I wanted to share that as well. I don't know the name of the pattern. I'm not a quilter, so I don't know what it's called, but it is gorgeous. So there's that.